All right, we're live. Welcome to another episode of It's All Fun and Games, the official Gamezo podcast. I am your host, Dan, also head writer at Gamezo. This week, I am joined by the lovely Ross. How are you, buddy?
I'm making a case for barbers and hairdressers to be essential business personnel.
Oh, they are, dude.
I'm very close to the solid snake mullet.
Oh yeah. That's
It is
that's
it is rough.
that's when I know. That's when I know. Like if my sideburns get super puffy, or like I start
Yeah.
getting the little like curl over mullet in the back, I'm like, all
Oh
right,
yeah.
haircut time. So
Definitely theater of the mind for the people listening and not watching, but it's rough.
you're not. It's not the worst, but you're there. You're like,
Thankfully my webcam's 720p and not 1080p. I'll leave it at that.
there you go. Yeah, that's the trick. Honestly, is I live with someone who was a hairdresser, so
Yeah, I was
I
gonna say.
I get the saving grace here, um,
Yeah.
every once in a while, so that's good. But yeah. So anyway, it's Easter. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter, happy Bunny Day if
Y-
you're on Animal Crossing.
Yeah. So I know we're doing this a bit early and it's off kilter, but we have Easter dinner. Is that a uniquely American thing where we eat our holiday meals like at 3 in the afternoon?
No, that's every single holiday meal. I This has been an ongoing struggle between me and my mother that whenever there's a holiday dinner, she wants to do it at noon, 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock,
Hmm.
and normally we eat dinner at 5, 6 o'clock. So no, that's brunch.
Yeah, that's
That's like advanced lunch. That's lunch two, the remastered lunch remake.
I'm moving some stuff around because our cameras
Oh,
are opposite of where they were last week, so people are
are
gonna
you
go follow.
struggling?
Yeah,
Oh, am I
they're
Dan?
yeah. You were Bitwise Dan, and I was Rain
Oh
Six.
no,
Um,
my worst nightmare.
yeah, you don't want to be me. I do want to be you though. Yeah, I don't know. My mom does that, and then like we're just staying in the family. But I asked my wife, I was like, "Are we doing that like thing where we eat dinner at 3?" She was like, "Yes." I was like, "Oh, okay, great."
But are you also social distancing?
We are. Yes, we're the only
Are
ones.
you like eating dinner in a Zoom call
No, no, we're not doing
with
that.
your family?
We're not. I know a lot of people, not a lot of people. I know enough people that were doing that, like folks with Passover. Over the was that like Wednesday? I think Tuesday, Wednesday of last week was Passover started. So I know some people that started Passover that way. I know some folks that are like, "Oh, you setting up your camera for Easter?" I'm like, "No." So what we did is like the girls FaceTimed with most of the family this morning,
Mm,
and
okay.
then like my aunt drove down and dropped some baskets off for them, and then my mom's swinging by after the podcast to drop
Yeah,
off
the
some
Easter
baskets for me.
baskets, that's where it's at.
Yeah, they stand
What kind of
across the
candy?
um
What kind of candy?
weird stuff. Honestly,
Weird
like
stuff?
yeah, they've gotten like Sour Patch Kids, jelly
Oh,
beans, chocolate,
love
lint
it.
bunnies. Those are the best.
Ooh,
I love the lint bunnies,
I've
dude.
I've made the case for many years that Easter is a better candy holiday than Halloween, 100%.
I like
Because
the lint
if I have to
bunnies.
power rank candy, Reese's eggs are up there in the top three for sure.
You know what? The Reese's
They
eggs.
hit different. They hit different, as the kids say.
You're right, man. You're right. So yeah, it's gonna be a good day, hopefully. Um, we're all tired. I was up streaming until
Yeah,
3
you
a.m. or
were.
something, and then the kids were up at 5. So they were like, "The sun's up. Did the bunny come?" I was like, "No, let the dad
No.
sleep." So, but all good. So anyway, moving on. I know you've been playing some stuff. Do you? Actually, it's one of the topics. So I'm gonna
Two of the
thanks.
topics.
Yeah. So hey, Ross, thanks for asking me what I've been playing.
Yeah,
Okay.
what have you been playing,
Um,
Dan?
I've been playing a game that I've been trying to review called Phalanx of Resistance.
What?
Oh yeah, it is a real-time strategy tower defense game with like a 90s. Do you remember on Super Nintendo the James Bond game?
No.
No. Oh god, it was like one of the free ones that came with Super Nintendo. It might have been a demo actually. It was very Contra-esque, but it had like this aesthetic that this game's copying ish.
Okay.
It's like on purpose. It's supposed to look 90s based. Um,
It sounds like a game where they just kind of couldn't figure out a name, so they went to like a name generator, and it just popped out a bunch of random adjectives, and we're like, yeah, okay, that's fine. We'll go with that.
okay, so some of the mechanics are actually I like. I like this real-time strategy resource management while doing tower defense of my base. I do enjoy that.
So how is that different than a normal tower defense game?
It's a little
Do you
more
just not have
clicky.
the wait time
Yeah,
in between
well, no,
rounds?
it has wait time in between waves, but it's more like how do I explain it? It's like if you were playing like a standard RTS, but there were also waves of enemies coming. So you're constantly clicking and
Oh,
building
okay.
and gaining resources, to defend yourself, and then saving resources, and then as the waves come in, you're able to do different things. So there's things like you can unlock a radio station, which is pretty cool because then it unlocks artillery and you can see the whole mini map and like kind of red dots where they're coming in. You can unlock normal turrets can turn into like anti-personnel turrets, or they can turn into anti-air turrets. Um, they
The
have
bane of all
overlap and
tower
stuff
defense
like that.
games,
Yeah,
the
so
air
it's
units.
it's fine. Um,
So it's just an RTS with like different phases.
yeah, I don't know how to say this without like being super
Play the
negative.
game. Drop their info. Tell them where to find the
You
game.
can go on Steam and
YouTube.
spend 79 cents, which I think probably tells you everything you need to know about how I feel about this game. If it
Ugh.
was a mobile game, I'd be like, dude, awesome time killer. It's great. It's on PC. I'm clicking. I'm enjoying the mechanics, but I'm sitting there bored. And I never want to be playing a game where I'm just like, man, I'm bored right now. Like the time between phases of waves just seems too long, and maybe it's because I've only played an hour. Maybe it speeds up. There, there, there was a moment um, where I did enjoy it because it got like really hectic. So
Okay.
so I'm wondering like if it gets like that more frequently as the game goes on, because all of a sudden there were like helicopters, my anti-air were doing work, and like tanks were coming in and people on foot, and then this weird plane UFO looking thing came in and dropped off like soldiers that looked like Terminators, and it was like, okay, things started getting crazy, and I was like, I need another turret here, and then I got through that in like 10 seconds, and then it was just like sitting there watching the waves come in and get melted by my setup. So
You're too good at the game.
maybe. I doubt that though. So anyway, I don't know. I'm feeling somewhere like mid sixes for this thing.
Oof.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, look, it's 79 cents. If you,
Should give it 1 point for as many cents as it costs.
oh yeah, 7.9. There we go. So if you're into that thing, I mean, try it. It's 79 cents. I'll give it to you. Like I will literally
What
get.
was the name of it
It
again?
was Phalanx of Resistance.
Phalanx of Resistance.
I might have. I could be saying the wrong title. I might be. Nope. I
That's gonna
nailed
be
it.
really bad. Oh, you nailed it.
I nailed
Okay.
it. Nailed it. I was like, I'm shitting on a good game probably right here. So that's what I've been playing. Do you want to hold off on talking about what you're playing, or
Well, I mean, I can say I'm playing Final Fantasy 7 and Valorant, but
okay, boom,
then
and
then we can talk more about it later.
okay, perfect. So the agenda is simple. We covered what we're playing. I want to go through that quick because then we have gaming news, which is lots of Final Fantasy 7 and Valorant, and then we have
Mhm.
Valorant is like our main topic, all caps,
All caps.
all caps, and then we have some esports news, and then we'll close out. But this is like the Valorant show. Like that's what this is going to devolve into. There's 4 news stories around Valorant, and then there's like talking about Valorant in itself. So um,
So, Dan, did you ever get your key
I did
for
not.
Valorant? You did
Mm-mm,
not?
mm-mm.
Unfortunate.
So we'll get there. I'm sorry. I digress. When we get to Valorant, I will soapbox
Okay.
about the key drops. But the first topic on gaming news is Final Fantasy VII Remake. So that dropped this week. People are psyched. I
Sykes.
know it's somewhere in like your C tier of Final Fantasy games,
Yeah,
but you did buy it and you started playing
I
it.
did
So
buy it. So, where do I start? First of all, I hate that it's called Final Fantasy 7 Remake. I hate the naming convention that they decided to choose. Not remastered, not reimagined, not like when Final Fantasy 14 sucked and they remade it, it was A Realm Reborn, not just Final Fantasy 14 Remake.
mhm.
So what are they gonna do for the next few games? Because obviously there's gonna be more Final Fantasy 7 remakes. Is it Final Fantasy 7 2 remake? Is it Final Fantasy 7 Remake 2? Is it Final Fantasy 7 Remake with a title?
I
I don't know.
think I think that they're going to, because they're really pushing on the episodic nature. I think it's going to be like
Episode
chapter 2,
2.
yeah, episode 2, chapter 2, issue 2. Like they're just going to say Final Fantasy Remake whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds about right.
So,
I'm really it's well documented how much I do not like Final Fantasy 7. And it's you're a movie guy, Dan. You know, has there ever been a movie where it's just been grossly popular, won tons of awards, won all the snobby awards like the Emmys or whatever? I don't watch movies, I don't know any of the awards. But like you're sitting there watching it and you're just like, this movie is awful. How do these people like this? And you just feel dumb because it's just so popular.
Yeah, all the time. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but there have been quite a few where I'm like, "This won Best Picture," and then I'm watching it and I'm like, "I don't like
Yeah,
this."
like when Shape of Water was like super popular, and you're like, it's just this girl getting boned by like a fish man. Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean this is best picture?
Yeah, no interest in that, and, like, it was
Yeah,
you know what's a great example of it is it's in the reverse, right? But the year that, The Hurt Locker beat Avatar for Best Picture or whatever, that was a while ago, but, like,
yeah.
everybody was very high on Avatar, and I was like, "Bro, Avatar was visually stunning, but it's just Fern Gully." You know, the Hurt Locker is tackling, like, a meaty issue about, like, PTSD and war and, that, and when it won, I was, like, the only person I knew that was like, "Yes! Hurt Locker won, it was a better movie." Everybody else was like, "Avatar had that." So
Yeah,
there's a great example.
that's kind of how I feel about Final Fantasy VII. It's the best way I can describe it is that it's kind of like, again, going with the movies, it's just kind of like a really good action movie. Like, stuff's gonna blow up, it's gonna be exciting, there's gonna be cool action scenes, there's gonna be a cool villain, and then it's not gonna win best cinematography or best foreign film or any of the highfalutin awards at the Emmys or the Academy Awards or anything like that. But it's really good. It's really, really good, and I didn't wanna like it as much as I did, but it's really good so far. I'm about 7 hours in. I'm in, like, chapter 6 out of 18, and it's been really good so far. I'm really enjoying it. Um, Square Enix has been making incredibly visually stunning games for the generation as long as I've known.
Mhm.
Like, before Naughty Dog was making Jak and Dexter, Square Enix was making Final Fantasy VII and just making it look great on PS1. The cutscenes, not the actual models, because
Yeah. Giant shoulder, tiny
yeah.
wrists,
Yeah,
giant
yeah,
hand.
yeah. Yeah, that plays the last year. But, the it's funny because everyone, I know you saw my tweet about this, but everyone was dogging on Final Fantasy 13 when it first came out for being very linear and
Mhm.
very hallway fantasy 13, and this is kind of what it is. It's I have held the W key forward for probably 6 of those 7 hours that
Just
I've played. Um, but the way it plays, it's a lot of, like I said, it's a lot of just kinda linear going along this path, fighting what gets thrown in front of you. They drop you into, like, a little hub where you can kinda do some boring quests you don't really care about, like find the lost cat and, help this dude out, but for the most part, it's pretty linear, which, given the story, it's fine, much like Final Fantasy 13.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, it's pretty linear so far. I'm at a point where I'm in a underground subway tunnel, and the only way to go is straight.
There you go.
So, it's as linear can get right now.
Make it happen.
But no, it's really great. The characters all play differently. So, I don't know if you played the demo or if you watch people play the demo, but,
No.
Cloud has his own mechanics, Barrett has his own. Barrett's just boring as hell. He just sits there as, like, a battery, and you sit there and you hold the square button, and he's shooting stuff, and he's like, "Screw you, loser, I'm Barrett," and he's shooting stuff, and he just charges his gauge, and he's just there to get MP and cast spells really fast. And then Tifa has this cool mechanic where she powers herself up for a little bit, and then she does better moves when she's powered up, which is more damage and stuff. And she kind of plays like a. It's funny because she kind of plays like a monk in Final Fantasy 14
Okay.
with her mechanics. So I thought that was interesting. I'm playing as her a lot because she's just really fast and really fun. But like I said, Barrett's kind of an afterthought. He's there if I have to. Because how much do you know about the game at all in terms of like how it plays?
I passed, like, Final Fantasy VII so hard
Okay.
every step of the way.
So, it's a lot better than 15 in terms of the battle system. The whole game kinda feels like a better Final Fantasy 15.
Okay.
So, basically, you're pressing square and you're doing, like, your attacks kinda like an action game, but you're doing that to build your ATB gauge,
Mhm.
and you have 2 chunks of it, and you can either use an item or a spell or an ability with that 1 chunk. So, you're kind of like you're not just sitting there hitting spells or whatever, you have to actually, like, earn them.
Mhm.
So that's why I say that Barrett's kinda like a battery because he just sits there and charges
Just
up,
builds it.
casts his spell, and that's about it. Um, I really didn't like the characters in the beginning, much like I didn't like them in the old game, because it was a lot of like, "Merc, you're just here for the money, I hate you." I was like, "Shut up, I don't care, I'm a badass." and it's been kinda much it's it's pretty much been like that for the entire time that I've played, but they've gotten a little better. The side characters have been incredibly I think I like them more than the main characters right now.
Oh, wow, really?
Like, they're getting a lot of screen time compared to the older games. Like, like, the kinda the side characters in the terrorist or not the terrorist organization, but Avalanche,
Mhm.
like, the main group. The side characters are a lot more interesting than Cloud and Barrett are right now, so I'm like, "Yeah, I get to hang out with Biggs and Wedge, they're cool." And then you meet one of their parents and you learn all their backstory, and it's a whole lot more than you ever did in the base game. They're like I said, they're a lot more interesting right now than the main characters.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that's, sorry to cut you off, but I think that's
no, I was saying keep going.
the interesting part about this remake is, they came out and they were like, "Oh yeah, basically it's 40 hours to play the first 4 hours of the game," right? Like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
people were like, "How are you gonna do that?" And I think it's just an instance of people going back and saying, "Okay, how can we flesh this out? What didn't I get when I played it 20 years ago that I wanted?" And kind of doing that. Um, I was actually surprised when you said it was super linear because I was like, "How are you getting like 4x out
Yeah,
of it?"
that's what I was thinking.
But
Because there are, like, hubs where it drops you in, and it's like, "Hey, here's some quests that you can do and get a little bit more story, and you can kinda walk around and do, like, some side missions," but, I mean, I don't wanna do side missions, man. I don't care. I want the main story. Like,
mainline the
that's what I
story.
want. I don't
Yeah.
care. Like, one of the initial quests that they give you in the first hub is find 3 cats for this little girl, and I could not care less. And it's funny because halfway through the quest, when you find the second yeah, I found one. When you
One.
find the second cat, Cloud just sighs, he's like, "This sucks." And I'm like, "Bro, I feel you.
See,
I
but
feel you."
they're connecting you with the character you're playing.
I'm
It's on
very connected
purpose.
with the
It's on purpose.
character.
So,
Another thing I wanted to touch on was the person who's composing a lot of the music for the remake is the person who did the composition for 13,
oh, beautiful. I like the
which is
music in
great.
13.
All the music's amazing.
Yeah.
It's great. All the everything's just redone. There's a lot of, nice little yeah, not I hate to say remix, but they've added a lot of flair to a lot of songs from a PS1 game. What is that? Oh my lord. Hold on. You can filibuster for a little bit.
I'll filibuster. I mean, like, yeah, I think it's really interesting with Final Fantasy 7 that I'm sorry, I'm watching Paul auto modding. There you go. You modify those auto mod properties, Paul. But for those listening at home, we do this live on Twitch. So if you hear kind of like us talking to the chat and whatnot, there's that. Um, so I find that really interesting with Final Fantasy 7. All of it, right? I mentioned earlier that I didn't play it. I kind of passed it. I played 10 was like the first time I jumped into the series. Uh,
A very good choice.
yeah, so like I had always seen them, and then I forget when did the movie come out? Was
Oh,
it
it came God, it was oh, it was around it was the same time as the Tomb Raider movie. They were side by side, but we don't even count that as a Final Fantasy movie.
no, I'm talking like the one back in
Oh,
like PS2. I
are you
watched it on
talking
my
about the
PS2.
Final Fantasy VII movie? Advent Children?
Yes, that one.
Oh, okay, I thought you were talking about, like, the
Mm,
random
no,
movie.
no.
Okay,
I was thinking about like timeline because what had happened is I had always seen Final Fantasy and I wasn't I don't know like I was too tied down in Xenogears at the time to care, and I ended up my uncle got the movie and he's like, "You need to watch this movie." And I watched the movie and then I kind of left that in my head and I don't know if that was like right around when 10 came out or if it was a few years later, but that movie pushed me to go to Blockbuster and rent Final Fantasy 10. And then that's the first time I got in the series and then it's well documented that I played 13 and 13 2. I didn't play Lightning
I think you
Returns.
still have my copy of Final Fantasy 13 too,
It's
by the way.
probably somewhere and then it's probably
I
in the
hope it's not in
basement.
your basement because 'cause I'm never gonna find it if that's the case.
Rip. And then yeah, I've moved twice since since I borrowed that from you. And
Yep,
then I have 15, but I haven't played a ton of that. So,
it's okay. Not good.
well, that's the thing is like I bought it. It was super cheap. It was Amazon 20 bucks. And then like you and Tom and 8 other people were like, dude, it's terrible.
Not good.
Just play it when you have time and you have nothing else to play.
Okay, in fairness, it was really bad when it first came out, and all the characters played the exact same, they had no different mechanics. There was a huge chunk of the story that was missing, and the end of the game had a part that lasted like an hour and a half where you just kind of walked around with no weapon and just like sucked people into like this Captain Planet ring.
Awesome.
And it was boring and it was miserable. But since then, they've added 5 different pieces of DLC. All the characters have their own individual mechanics now. Like the twink boy has like he plays like an FPS character, and like big hunky dude has his own thing, and Ignis has his own thing.
Awesome.
All the characters are still boring as hell except for Ignis, by the way.
Oh, well, maybe it's time to pick it back up,
And
or
then
I could buy a
the
7.
only DLC that I cared about was the one they canceled.
Oh, really? Rip.
The only interesting character in that game.
Unfortunate.
No
Yeah.
story for her. It sucks.
My options at this point are basically buy Final Fantasy VII Remake or go back and play that as far as Final Fantasy. Well, there's tons of options for Final Fantasy games I could go back and get.
14,
Yeah, I
which
could.
is, for my money, probably the best Final Fantasy now in terms of story.
I just don't want an MMO. But
I know, it's so hard, but man, 14 is so good.
yeah, I don't know.
It's so good right now.
I'll figure it out.
The writing is so good.
So Square's doing good stuff, man. I mean,
You don't gotta tell me, they're my favorite company.
so except that the Avengers game, we don't have to talk about that.
Oh, I don't care about it.
But
Oh, I don't
but
care.
any other final thoughts on Final Fantasy VII Remake?
I have one final thought,
Oh, let it rip.
and you know what it is. Why now, of all times, is Butterfinger doing a thing where they want me to go to a store in the middle of a pandemic to buy 2 candy bars to get DLC?
Can you buy them online? Can you
No.
Amazon them? Damn.
I'm sure, but I mean, I'm not gonna because I can't buy individual candy bars off Amazon. I'm gonna have to buy like an 8 box of Butterfinger.
Split them with some other Final Fantasy people.
Oh, sell the codes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude.
Ooh,
Make
I'm
money.
about to put entrepreneur on my status
Exactly.
on Twitter
Get
now.
it going. But by the way, before we move on, my entire filibustering was like, oh, look, Paul's here. He's modding. Oh, sorry, listeners on the podcast. We do this live on Twitch, so this section means nothing to you. We get to relive
God,
that. They get to relive that twice if they're listening. So anyway, awesome. Yeah, I mean, I've been watching it a bit online, and I'm like, oh man, I should play it, but there's so many other ones, and I don't know. I'll figure it out. So
you you know where to go.
yeah, I do.
Your friendly neighborhood Ross.
Absolutely. So, the PS5 controller.
Okay.
What kind of segue was that? I don't care. It's next on my list, so we're tackling it.
No, the segue is we're gonna have to wait so many years for the next Final Fantasy VII remake. Is that it's gonna be on PS5,
Probably. I mean,
and that's gonna be rough.
honestly. So yeah, what did you think? I mean, I'll give you my quick opinion. It's got, it looks like they're trying to go halfway between an Xbox and a PlayStation controller, right? Without doing the
Yeah,
offset sticks. Um,
that was my big takeaway is that they didn't do the offset sticks, which is
um,
good.
yeah, I don't like the offset sticks. And then
Yeah.
the other thing with it is, Sony's doing that typical thing where they're jamming like a ton of technology we didn't ask them to jam into the controller.
Yeah, we have 14-year-old little Jimmies and Johnnies buying $300 scuff controllers just so they can have hair triggers. I don't want like haptic feedback on my trigger and make it harder to pull down because I'm using an AR-15 instead of an MP5.
Yeah, and they have the voice chat. We're putting studio quality microphones and I'm like,
No,
well,
no, you
me. I'm the I'm like the prototype. I'm an infosec guy. Like that's what I do for my job. I'm like, oh, cool, another device that the mic can be on at all times.
hate it.
Yeah,
I still don't have a smart TV, man.
I have a smart
I'm
TV.
full I'm full tinfoil hat boomer when it comes to TV, man. I don't know
You
what
should.
it is, but you can't get me a smart TV. I don't want Alexa knowing what I'm watching. I don't even watch TV.
I
You don't
know
need to know what I'm watching.
it's the worst. It's actually funny. The one smart TV in my house, I named it Malware Sandbox. That's just the name of the TV. But what really freaked me out is I was reviewing that. I think we were streaming together. I put in that new Element keyboard, and it was like, need permission to access your audio. And I was like,
No.
no, why? And then I realized that the algorithm it uses is it reads the actions happening on your screen and the sound coming from the game to do the lights on the keyboard. And I was like, oh, okay, you're just getting game audio. Um,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
what you
But like,
think?
yeah, exactly. Until we get another what was the Cambridge Analytica or whatever scandal with Facebook going on. So yeah, I think bringing it back to the controller, there was a lot of complaints from people saying, "Hey, no, offset sticks are better." And my opinion has always been where I find both controllers comfortable. Um, doesn't it seem a little or make a little sense that like I have two thumbs that are the same length? So instead of kind of, like I don't know. That's just how I feel about it.
Listen, I'm gonna break this down for you real quick. Hold on, let me move some stuff from my desk. All
Do
right,
it.
so like, okay, so when I play first person shooters the way they should be played on a mouse and keyboard, right? So I got my keyboard and I have my mouse, and they're like relatively in the same area. I have my mouse here, it's cool, and then I have my keyboard here. This is theater of the mind for the people on the podcast, by the way. You can't see what I'm doing, but my keyboard, mouse, side by side, side by side. It's not. Here's my mouse. I muted myself, but here's my keyboard. Here's my mouse. This is not how you game. Okay, you put the sticks side by side because you got two thumbs in the same distance, like a human being. You're not some like evolved creature where one's longer than the other yet. We haven't reached that point. We probably will.
All the Microsoft kids, enough generations of them, and
60
they'll have.
million years of playing on Xbox offset sticks. We're gonna have like the human race is gonna branch off into different genus or whatever it's called based on who's playing Xbox and who's playing on PS4, and they're gonna have like one's gonna have a longer thumb.
That's gonna cause so many problems. Like, no, but I want to play PlayStation, and it's not.
Yeah.
It's gonna. Man, the future's gonna be a wild place. I I can't wait for it. So yeah, that's just how I feel about it. I think it looks good. I think um, the color
The white
offset,
one.
like the white with the black, kind of looks a little stormtroopery, but that's fine. I think some of the art that came out from just people like us, just fans, was
Making
pretty
their own
cool. Yeah,
controllers.
making their own controllers. I was like, man, Sony needs to jump on that and start their portal now, where you can spend
Yeah.
an extra $50 and design your own controller, and they'll print it and send it because it's just the shell. Like all the other
Yeah.
components are the same.
Well,
So
the light bar is front facing now, so you can it's not really white and blue. You can kind of like if you can change the color of your light bar, you can have like a red and white or a orange and white, so
yeah.
might be cool. But everyone's saying that it looks like something out of Detroit Become Human,
hmm I
which
saw
I
that.
can see.
The other thing I want to say about that too, and I think I tweeted it, is like, please stop drawing the PlayStation 5 controller as an anime character. Like, you're all thirsty for this controller. Calm down. Like, calm way down, people.
Why?
Like, some of them were like cool anime pictures, and then other
Oh,
ones were
you
like
already know.
super thirsty. So
You already know Tom's got the down low on some of
I
those.
know it's where it's at. So, um, cool. So, talking about just controllers that kind of makes sense. I actually liked the Stadia controller. That failed system. Um, well,
I mean,
it's
what
still
did it do
going.
differently? It was just a
It was no. I just liked that they had the thumbsticks next to each other.
okay.
Okay, that's where it's at. So that's but their Google, well, they're calling it a humanitarian movement of, hey, we're all stuck inside, come stream games off
Come
Stadia
play
for free,
Destiny 2.
and it's gonna be, you know, it's free for the pro version. Normally that's $9.99 a month, so it's free for 2 months. I wrote a story on it for Gamezo. Uh, if you want to sign up, you get the next 2 months for free. If you're already one of the 5 people that are signed up to Stadia Pro, you get your next 2 months for free. If you buy any games while you're on it, you keep them. It's not like attached or whatever. Obviously, that's not a free controller. That's not a free Chromecast. So you kind of have to figure out what you're going to do. Um, with that stuff. But hey, if you're listening and you wanted to try Stadia, now is the time to at least mess with it and see if it was really the failure that they said it was. I think the technology there is very promising. I think it's just they just missed. They were too busy trying to launch it that they kind of didn't
Oops.
get everything set up.
Oops, we had to include features in our thing.
Exactly. Who knew that Google couldn't just launch a controller and a cloud platform and it would sell? So it is what
They're
it
not
is.
Apple, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's probably coming. Honestly, now that Google's
Yeah.
failed, Apple's in the background, like, ha 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 ha.
Well, they have their thing,
Yeah.
don't they?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
have like the Apple gaming, but who's really salivating right now is Xbox because the Xbox Cloud, or whatever they're calling it, has very similar technology to Stadia, but they've had like all this extra time to like alpha test it, beta test it, and everything. And there's some speculation that basically what you'll end up with at some point is an Xbox box that just is meant to connect to a server and run it through the TV and stuff like that. The cool
I
thing
hate
about
it
Xbox Cloud is that you can set up your home Xbox as a server and then stream your games from your home Xbox to wherever you're playing, which is cool. So you're not using their cloud technology, you're using your actual system at home essentially as a cloud server and then playing remote play. So that's pretty cool. But anyway, enough about Stadia. Let's talk about China. China is mad at Animal Crossing. Do you know why, Ross? Do you know why China's mad at Animal Crossing?
because a country that doesn't allow a lot of personal freedom is mad at a game that just lets you have a lot of personal freedom.
Exactly. More than that, though, people in China, because they can't go out thanks to COVID, um, they are making Hong Kong protest banners and art in the game and sharing that. And China does not like free speech.
Well, the problem is the people in Hong Kong are doing that. They're the one making all this stuff, and then the people in China are just like, bro, we're just trying to play Animal Crossing. Now we can't because these people are the government is trying to weaponize like Animal Crossing fans from China against the people of Hong Kong.
Yeah, and look, it comes down to it happened with the Blizzard stuff, right? Like I forget who the player was, but they shut him down. They took like all of his winnings and like barred him for a year because he said free Hong Kong, like after winning a tournament. And then it is what it is, right? Like we're not telling anybody anything new. China has a firewall that scans all of your traffic and you're blocked from certain websites. You can't go to Google, you can't go to anything. If you are a company that wants to do business in China, part of that is you have to build a data center in China and give them the encryption keys to it. Yo, my dude Cyclop got me. It was Blitzchung. Boom, the chat. It's got
Okay,
us. We got a moderator today, so I'm allowing the chat to run free. Thanks for the follow, by the way, Cyclop.
unfortunate.
So it just it is what it is, right? We're just going to see this. It's how China operates, and unfortunately Animal Crossing is the victim here. So
Yeah, but it's interesting because these people in the midst of the virus, they can't really gather together, they can't really do whatever, but Animal Crossing is just this place where they can all go, and I think what I like the most about it is that it's anonymous. Like if you're recording a video on Animal Crossing of your little Animal Crossing character, you don't know who that is.
yeah,
I could have a I could make a girl character with red pigtails, and you never know it's me. But I see you're drinking, so I'm gonna filibuster for a little bit. You get the red light on your mic.
that's the
That's
Ross
so
help.
cool. The Ross help button.
Yeah.
No, but it's anonymous. You can't get like cell phone footage of these people doing whatever, and then you can kind of apprehend them later on. It's what are you gonna do?
hmm
You're gonna
Well,
try and face ID people's Animal Crossing character to them or something like that?
probably. I
You can't.
mean, if anyone can do it,
Good
it's
luck.
China. So yeah, I thought that was just super. Is kind of I don't want to say like typical, like,
It is typical though.
but it is. So it is what it is. Um,
It's funny because they didn't want consoles at all. Like all consoles were like in for the most part. They didn't want the Switch. They finally got the Switch. This is what you get now.
Yeah, good luck. Actually, a funny anecdote, and then we can move on to the next topic. There was a gentleman who was back when we worked. You might not have even been working at GameStop. It was like when I first became a key holder. A guy came in and he was a businessman and he had lived as an expat in Hong Kong and he was worried about basically, hey, we moved back to the U.S. Can I play my games on it? And I explained to him no and yada yada yada. And then he proceeded to tell me that he was initially in Beijing for business for about 6 months and he could not get his hands on a system and then when he
Yeah.
when he moved to Hong Kong, it was easier to get because while it's in China, it's kind of its own semi-sovereign or sovereign thing. So weird times we live in, weird times, but not really. All right, speculation. You ready?
I hate spec. All right, take off your journalism cap. It's time for
Are,
reckless
are you
speculations.
ready? Let's go. Reckless
Oh yeah,
speculation.
that's right, that's
We
right,
we
that's
got to
right.
put
Got a
the
tinfoil hat.
speculation
Okay,
hats on. All right.
reckless speculation time. Tinfoil hat. Let's
Someone
go.
from IGN heard from someone that a new Fable might be made for the new Xbox.
I don't care.
they've tried to bring that game back so many times. I have fond memories of it. Um, it was 1 and 2 were fun. Andrew, my brother, absolutely love them. If they could bring back what they did in those games, but expand it to like the levels of do anything that is available in modern gaming, I think it could be really cool. I just wonder in the age of like Elder Scrolls and Far Cry and these more realistic looking
Grand Theft
games,
Auto
Grand Theft Auto, um, how much that cartoony esque um, fantasy style is going to work.
may
You know,
need to change,
yeah.
but
Or maybe it'll be a fresh, a breath
breath
of
of fresh
fresh
air.
air. Yeah, thank you. And people will say like, "Oh, great, it's not hyper realistic, and I don't have to like monitor my what was that game I played with Tom Outward? You have to monitor if you're cold or warm, if you're tired or awake, if you're eating or
Oh,
drinking. Like,
oh, I gotta worry about that stuff in real life, man. I don't want to play a video game that does that. You kidding me?
it was stressful. That game also had Souls-like combat on top of all that other stuff. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It's just speculation. We might find out more if it's real. We might.
Funny you
Uh,
mention that because you just reminded me of this. Like those like PUBG and like Tarkov.
mhm.
There's this game called I think it's like Scum or whatever, and you have to manage like your macro calories too. Like you have a bar for like your protein, like your sodium level. I think
I am like doing long
it's
blinks at you right now,
yeah.
like just long blinks. So,
Yeah, because it's like you're playing, you have like your health bar, your stamina, and then there's like 8 different colors.
like,
It's like you're playing The Sims while you're trying to, raid this military complex.
dude, that's too much. Like that game Maneater, from Tripwire that's coming out next month. They do something similar to that, which is okay. So you play as a shark, and then it's an open world game. You basically play as a shark. It's a Bambi story. Your mom got killed by a fisher, hunter fisher guy. So you're trying to evolve to take out like the top 8 fisherman hunter dudes or whatever. And as you eat different things, you gain protein and other nutrients that allow you to evolve. But like, it makes sense. By the end of that game, you can become a megalodon covered in like bone armor. By the way, so I'm all over
No,
it.
sign me up.
Like I'm in. I can
Can I get
fight.
lasers?
Probably. I think you can get like electric spikes, and you can like go to beach resorts and like eat college
Oh,
kids on spring
raid the
break.
Sandals Resort.
Yeah, let's go. You get to fight like saltwater crocodiles and other stuff. This is moved from a Fable conversation to a man eater game conversation,
It's a
but
whole lot of games no one's gonna be playing anytime soon.
yeah, you know though, Meg, the wife, loves sharks. She's like, there's a game where I can start as a baby bull shark and evolve into a megalodon. When do we get it? And I'm like, next month. So hashtag gamer wife.
Good for Mag.
I know. So hey, moving on. Your cousin's gonna hopefully be getting some royalty soon. No one asked for it, but we got Saints Row 3 remastered coming out.
I Nobody asked for it, but it's here
We're gonna get it.
again. More remasters, more remakes, more HD collections. I'm so done, dude. Just
Yeah.
just give me a new console generation. I'm just so done with this.
Podcast 1 or podcast 2, we had like a 10-minute conversation about this.
Yeah,
So,
I'm so tired of it, man. I'm so glad these next consoles are gonna be backwards compatible,
yeah, because then we
so I can't
hopefully won't get
HD
this.
remaster. Yeah, like I don't. If you're like remastering games from like the previous generation, not 2 or 3 back, but just games that came out 5, 6 years ago, like what are you doing, man?
Yeah. People are clamoring for it. Some poor teenager working at Target is gonna
I
like
need to be able to smack a dude with a giant adult toy again.
exactly.
I haven't been able to feel that pleasure in my life.
Yeah, so some teenage kid at Target's gonna have to explain that to a mother as she goes to buy this for little Jimmy. There's a whole new generation, Ross, of people who have to feel our pain. Okay, it's worth it. Paul says that Saints Row 2 remastered would be better. I agree.
Yes,
I
agree.
don't think that 3 was the
Hard
pinnacle,
agree.
but um, it is
But
what it
3 is
is.
gonna sell more, unfortunately, because
Mm-hmm.
society.
It's the worst. Moving on from something negative to something positive. In the
I
UK, there's the Stay Home Save Lives campaign.
I
And
thought that was a good segue to the Face It Justice thing, but
no, that's all the way on the other side
I
of
know, I
Valorant.
know, I know, but that was a good segue.
We haven't reached the top of the mountain yet. Um, so Stay Home Save Lives is a campaign in the UK that is basically, hey, COVID-19 spreads, it kills people, stay home, save lives, right? Some developers have been asked to help with the campaign, and folks like Codemaster and the folks who make the Sniper Elite games have popped in, and what they're doing is in different unique ways putting this message into video games, since there are millions of gamers who are stuck inside playing games right now, right? It's a great time to hit that target audience. So
Yeah.
like Codemasters using the dirt rally games, and in the rally games on the sides of the roads there's like stanchions or barriers that have advertisements on them, so they're putting, stay home save lives on those. Sniper Elite actually has a screen before you play the game that says that, and then on the PC versions has a link out to information about things you can do. So I thought that was a really positive thing. Our industry is doing a lot, from game giveaways to raising money for charity to
Getting
helping
people for Stadias.
yep.
A lot of people play Destiny too.
So it's good. I know us at Gamezo, we're aiming to do some key giveaways for people. Yeah, tons of streamers are giving away copies of games. The F1 guys are raised $30,000 or something by playing the F1 games for charity. So just some good news in these times.
I
So
saw there was a thing called HomeCon.
oh my god, is that
I don't
like
know
a
if you've heard of it.
nope?
It's apparently it's like it's just an online convention, and then they would have people that were in TV shows or voice actors or whatever. They would do like their own um what's it called? Their own panel,
Hmm.
but they would do it in like a call or whatever or a stream, and people would donate. And then I think you could like donate money and get like a one-on-one with these people or whatever and ask questions. So the HomeCon, Google it. I saw it on Twitter for like 2 seconds and was like, oh, that's cool.
That is cool. So yeah, I think a lot of folks, industries are getting kind of hip to and figuring out this thing. It's funny because like you've worked remote for a long time. I've worked in the tech industry where I've always had the capability to work like on a beach in Thailand if I want.
Yeah.
So this isn't new to us, but there's plenty of people that don't know how to download and use Zoom. They don't know how to set up a
I
Discord
didn't
face
know what
call
Zoom was until
until all the security stuff
I
happened.
was today years old when I found out about
Oh,
Zoom.
I've used it at a few companies. So all right, we're getting there. This is technically gaming news, but this is like we're going up the ice wall and we're about to get to the top of the mountain. There's a game called Valorant coming out. It's in beta apparently,
What?
and
Wait, what's the name?
it's Valorant. It's
Okay.
all
Who makes
caps.
it?
I believe Riot Games. They do League of Legends. Have you heard of that one?
Isn't that game dead? Doesn't like no one play that anymore?
Obvious, I guess. I don't know.
Probably not. I mean, that
Um,
company's probably failing.
so yeah, so Valorant went out and they had their
Why
closed
can't you do
beta.
that seriously?
I know, it's just like the
Ugh.
worst. But they went out and they broke all kinds of streaming records. They had like 1.7 million concurrent viewers. They had what was it, 30 million view hours. Um,
Yeah.
and let's talk about why. A,
Why do you think a lot of people were watching, Dan?
it's because the game is riveting and the entertainment is high, and it had
Yeah.
nothing to do with the fact that the only way to get a beta key to play the game was to watch people streaming it with drops enabled. That had nothing to do with it. I did
No.
not have 7 accounts with 32 tabs open attempting to get a Valorant key. That did not happen. Why do you think it happened?
I feel I f- I feel like we gotta file a complaint with like Guinness or something. Cause you know how people try and like go back and just get people's records taken away? It's like
Mhm.
the Donkey Kong guy where the speedrunners found out he was cheating.
Mhm.
I think
Cuz he was
we gotta
using an
do
emulator.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I think we gotta do this with the Valorant people. Cause I mean, if you went into so for example, like Summit 1G,
Mhm.
like the biggest
Pretty
viewer
big.
streamer
Pretty
for the
big.
like over the course of that weekend.
Yeah. I think
If
at one point he had like 250,000 I saw
yeah,
on Twitch. It was crazy.
yeah, easy. But if you went in his chat and like pulled up the user list and typed in the word Valorant to like filter the chat, you would see like 123 Valorant code 1, Valorant code 2, Adrian Valorant account 1, Adrian Valorant like just went all the way down the list. I think probably 70% of those accounts were multiple accounts. And it wasn't just, oh, I have this old account that I haven't used, or oh, hey, that time that I used my aunt's Amazon Prime to give Ninja a Twitch Prime, I can open that up and maybe get a Valorant key. No, this is I made 40 different accounts so I could get a Valorant key and then flip them on eBay for 150 bucks.
Yeah, it was disgusting. I went into one stream. I forget who it was. There were a lot of people that were like over 50K.
Yeah.
Um, but it was literally the same thing. I went and I looked, and it was like Valorant keybot one, like not even hiding it, like
They're
keybot.
just being hon
I was like, okay, that's why I haven't gotten a key yet. Is because I'm in
yeah.
here and I'm one of them. But
Where is Dan Valorant Key 1, Dan Valorant Key 2?
I don't
You
have
messed
the
up, man.
I don't have the time for that, bro. I don't have the time for that. But with that said, I was in a bunch of streams that had really good chat engagement. So while there were a large number of people mining keys, the fact is that people are very excited for this game. Um, this this is as good of a time as ever to get into it. So for people who don't know anything about Valorant, we talked a lot about it last week and the week before, but we're gonna talk about it a ton today. Um,
Yep.
it's a first-person shooter from Riot. It's effectively CS:GO meets a hero shooter. You play as an agent who has a number of utility skills. They work kind of like we've talked about this smoke bombs or flashbangs or something like that. You also have an ultimate. There's an economy system to it where between rounds you're buying weapons, um, and then it plays like CS:GO in that it has gun pattern spray and it's all about gunfights and they're listening to gamers and optimizing it and doing 128 tick rate on the servers and all this good stuff, right? So there's a lot of hype around it because they're building this amalgamation of what people want plus probably two of the more popular FPS genres, right? Which is tactical shooter with hero shooter,
Yeah.
and it's Riot who have a pretty good track record. So the beta released this Wednesday. Was it last Wednesday? Last
It
Wednesday.
was
This
Thursday, I think,
Thursday the 7th. Whenever the 7th
or
was.
Tuesday, whenever the 7th was.
Yeah, the beta went live, and as we just mentioned, the only way to get a key was to watch Valorant streams with drops enabled. So good luck. So Ross, you yourself, sir, you got a key.
I was part of the fortunate few.
Yeah. So you've been playing
Thank you,
it.
Summit.
Yeah. Oh, it was Summit. It wasn't.
Yeah, it was Summit.
Damn. I wanted my boy Matt to
I've
hook me up.
enjoyed Summit streams for a while, so it's only fitting that I was rewarded for my loyalty.
He's good. I do like him, and he's obviously very good at the game. He was a CS:GO pro, right? Like so, it's
Yeah.
kind of
Have you ever seen his notorious clip as a pro?
no.
Yeah, all right, so it's well known that his claim to fame is that he threw around one time in CS:GO. He was like in a 1v1 situation. He clutched it out. He killed the guy, but he walked into the Molotov that he threw and he killed himself and they lost the round.
Why?
And then his team went on to lose that game when they were up by like 3 rounds
But do we know why that happened? Why he
because
did
he
that?
just wasn't paying attention. Like he threw the
Oh,
Molotov
okay.
and he's like, "Oh, okay, I gotta go defuse the bomb now." And then he like went to go defuse the bomb and died.
When you said he threw the round, I like assumed like,
Oh no, on purpose? No, no, no.
yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah,
he was costing.
yeah. Summit. Um, okay, that's good. It's good to know that even top
So
tier
it's
pros are like me sometimes.
yeah, it's funny because there's the character Phoenix that part of his mechanic is he throws a Molotov, but he can stand in it to heal. So everyone was making fun of Summit, and this whole time he can't break NDA and be like, you know what, I can stand in Molotovs this time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so he was like, I can finally say it.
That's awesome. That's
But
awesome.
it's it's funny because, like you said, it's a compilation of everything that people have wanted and everything asked for. The game doesn't do anything new. It does absolutely nothing new. All it does is give you all the features that you want, and it puts them in a 128 tick rate server that is very clean and crisp. And people that's all people want. It's very simple. It's just give us the features we want, make it very easy to well not easy to play, but make it, don't make it as punishing as CS:GO so people that don't play CS:GO can, hop in and not be immediately punished horribly because they didn't play 20 years of 1.6. I mean, it's not my cup of tea as someone who plays Rainbow Six and Call of Duty. I much prefer that gunplay, but I mean, I can still operate in Valorant just fine. It is the skill gap is very apparent when I see someone that's been playing CS:GO for a long time. It's very clear when a dude just like swings around a corner with an op and one taps me.
Yeah, but
But
what are you gonna do? That's
what
just
are you gonna do?
years
I'm gonna get
of
I'm gonna get better.
yeah.
I'm gonna get better, Dan, because unlike other games, Rainbow Six Siege, this has a fully fleshed out firing range where I can practice my sprays. It has a giant target that I can shoot at, and it'll go back to 10 meters, 30 meters, 50 meters, and it can show me where my gun spray is. I can practice my gun spray. It has a little dummy on the side that I can shoot at, and it tells me how much damage I'm doing. If if this burst is doing 150 damage, which is the highest health pool that someone can have if they have heavy armor, or I can practice clutch situations, defusing a bomb or planting a bomb, or I can just go into a custom game, give myself unlimited utility, and practice my like utility throws. So like if I want to practice, okay, so I died like over in this spot a couple rounds ago. I'm gonna go into a custom game and be like, okay, well, how can I throw a flashbang over here? Can I throw my like Molotov like off this wall and have it hit this guy? What can I do? Which Rainbow Six doesn't have. Um, but it just allows you to get better a lot easier than a lot of other games. My favorite part about Valorant wasn't the game itself, it was after the fact. So once like the game's over, you have your normal scoreboard where you're like, man, I went like 5 and 10. I'm garbage. There's a tab where it shows every round what happened. So I can look at okay, round 3, the first guy died here. And it has a mini map of where every single character was at that point, where they were facing, what items they had, what items they had used, like who was still up, who died where. And then I can click on the next event. So the next person that died that round, okay, everyone was over here. So if I have a round where, oh, I thought that guy was over there, what happened? I can literally watch that person rotate from kill to kill and see where they went.
That's good. I mean,
Yeah, it's great.
and that's what I've noticed watching it too is like not. I think Pengu said it best, right? Penguin. I was every time I look him up. By the way, it's hilarious. Google's like, "Do you mean penguin?" And I'm like, "No."
No,
But
Pingu.
yeah, Pengu. I think he said it best, which is the game itself has a very low barrier to entry, meaning that
Yeah,
you can pick it up, you can start shooting. It's a simple concept in how the game works, but the skill ceiling is very, 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 very high.
huge.
Um, so that's excellent for someone like him who is a pro, right? It's like, and I think he also said that specifically. He said, "Look, Rainbow Six isn't a isn't a high skill cap game right now,
No,
and this is, and that's all pros want is to have the best skill, and that's why you're winning, right? Like we want to play against the highest skill level players, and
there is
that
an agent right now that doesn't allow that though.
yeah, what
Raise.
yeah, everyone keeps saying, um, like every stream I've gone to, there's at once they've been like, when are they gonna nerf this character already? And I'm like, it's the beta. Like they're
Yeah.
figuring it out. The balance will
Well,
come.
it's the beta, but this is the first time anyone has seen this character because
Mhm.
she is new to the beta. Everyone's playing Counter Strike and she's playing Halo.
Oh, jeez.
She's got like cluster grenades. Her ult is a rocket launcher that one shots you at the highest armor if you're generally near it. I've seen people kill 3 people in one shot with it.
Jeez.
She's not fun to play against.
Yeah, I haven't seen anybody play against her, but I've heard people discuss it. Like, someone in a chat will say, "Hey, is the game balanced? How does it feel? Whatever." And they'll be like, "Oh, the game feels really great. The gunfights are very equal. Tick rate server, blah blah blah." All the marketing stuff that I'm
There's
sure,
Raze.
I'm sure they're contractually, yeah, obligated to say. But then they mention Rays, and they're like, "Broken, needs to be fixed now. It's not,
Get her out of here.
yeah." So it's bound to happen.
This is a good segue to if you watch the 100 Thieves Invitational, you will probably see that character a lot on every single team, every single round.
Yeah, unless they ban it ahead of time.
There's no ban.
They could ban, bro. They could. It's an invitational. They can make whatever rules they want.
I mean, yeah, but
You know what I mean? And considering the fact that I'm pretty sure Nade Shot's one of the guys that was complaining about that character.
oh, you mean ban the character outright?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought
yeah.
you meant I thought you meant have like picks and bans like
No,
League of
no,
Legends or
no,
something like that. I'm like, they're not gonna do that.
no, no. I meant like
Yeah, I mean they
the
could ban the
invitational
character,
just says
but
no. Um,
that's a real scrub quotes thing to do though.
yeah, it's funny the chat saying that the upside to Valorant is there are no hackers. Yet,
Mm,
but
but they no, they're there already.
I'm sure they
It
are. They always
I
are.
have seen them. I
Oh,
have
really?
seen videos of this dude just I've seen a video of this one guy running full speed around the corner with one of the guns and just headshotting people, like, full walking. Not crouch walk, not the slow walk, but just, like, the full, like, running, like he's playing Call of Duty and just one tapping people, which you can't do.
Skill cap.
It's not.
Skill cap. Well, they'll figure it out. I'm sure they'll have anti-cheat in there at some point and all the other goodies. I'm
Yeah,
sure they won't
there's definitely cheaters, there's definitely been clips of those.
and I'm sure they won't just let them run rampant for 3 months before they do something about it. While they train their algorithm, right? Right, Ross, right? Is that a sore spot? Is that a sore spot for
It's a
you?
sore spot. Man, it hurts, dude, because I love Ubisoft. There's a lot of really nice people that I've actually talked to that work on that game, but man, it's so rough right now.
Yeah. And that's all it's funny. You mentioned the whole bit about no Rainbow Six Pro says anything good about it, and now a lot of
Yeah,
these guys are playing Valorant, so I'm watching them, and they're
yeah.
playing Valorant and complaining about Rainbow Six.
Yeah,
And
but
it's
none of them are actually gonna hop ship from
no,
one game to the other,
no, I don't
but it's
think so.
just it's rough because obviously the people that are streaming and the people that are playing at the highest level, that's where all the cheaters are gonna be because that's where they wanna
Hmm.
be. People like me, they're in, like, above average rank, they're like, I'm not gonna see cheaters all like, I'm
No,
probably gonna see maybe, like, a cheater, like, once every other day, but at the same time, I'm gonna have it in the back of my head, if I die for some, like, weird reason, like, "Oh, that dude's a knower," as we like to say.
yeah, it's
He's a
it.
knower.
It's funny because I think we had this conversation um, right before Valorant dropped, and Nadeshot went from playing primarily Warzone to Valorant. The biggest problem he was having with Warzone flat out was the cheating. And because there is a skill based matchmaking system in that game, and he was a pro and he's playing with other guys that are or were pros in FPS or just generally relatively good content creators, they would see a good day would be, oh, I haven't seen a cheater today. Or oh, I've only seen one cheater today,
Yeah,
right? Like you said, when you're in kind of that like above average tier, you'll see one every once in a while.
yeah,
I'm in the like below average tier, so I'll see one every 90
never.
years. Yeah, like
You'll see him on Twitter, that's about it.
exactly. Um, I've had aimbot cheaters in games, um, but it was legitimately like it was obvious this dude made a Smurf account and was just working his way up. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So, but yeah, you basically you'll never see them. So that's good, and hopefully because Valorant has such a high skill cap, like we don't see a bunch of them, and they kind of fix that. And then obviously, like you said, at those top tiers, it's always going to be a problem. There's someone always finds a way around it. There's always some aimbot that's like $150 a month, can't be caught by any of the anti cheat software. Um, it's just like what
It's a
information.
free game. I have all that
Yeah,
extra money now to buy an aimbot,
exactly.
and
So
then I can make another free account to play the game.
yep, and
So,
aimbot.
hopefully they, like, IP ban, a hardware ban, or do something because I mean, that's gonna be rough.
Yeah,
Because like I said, the problem with Siege is that that game goes on sale so much that I could buy, like, $26 accounts at one point and just cycle through them and be good for 2 years.
yeah. Yeah, it's good. So I guess in closing on your thoughts on Valorant is it's good.
It's great.
It
It's great. It's really fun. It's hard for me to just generally dislike okay, so I hate Counter-Strike. It is well documented. I hate Counter-Strike. It is not fun to play. I do not enjoy the gunplay. It is miserable. This game is just Counter-Strike, but it's fun. So I'm enjoying it, and that's a lot. That it's saying a lot if I enjoy it.
yeah, and that goes a long way. Like we've discussed it. I never had a ton of fun with Overwatch, but for some reason Paladins was just fun. Like there was just something about like the buying the stuff and whatnot. And sometimes games just do that. There's like one or two little things they do that are different, and it just changes your whole capability to enjoy the game. And I think at the end of the day, it's not just from a raw how good is a game perspective. A game has to be fun, or why are you playing it? So, yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I didn't get a key, and I'm gonna be bad at it, but I don't know. I'll
I had
play
an account for you. You just didn't wanna play on Fortnite Pro 69.
for reasons,
I had the account.
obviously. So Yeah, so that's good. And I guess from your opinion, before we move on to the esports news, do you think this is the next hot esport? Do you think this is? Do you think when Valorant comes out, they're going to go and displace some games?
So the thing it has going for it, so the last few games that were like this were Apex Legends, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds,
Hmm.
not really Fortnite, but Fortnite exploded in its own way anyways. But the last time a game was like this was Apex, where it was who's the best player, where are they streaming, when are we going to see esports? And we never did see esports because still no custom games. This game has been out since a year, I think, at this point. It's been a while. We're either way, we're in season 5 of Apex, I'm assuming.
Hmm.
I think it's 5. Um, it's either 5 or 4. Either
It's
way,
there. It's been it's been
game
a
is
while.
pretty dead because still no competitive scene. Valorant has a competitive scene day like 3 of beta because custom games,
Hmm.
because the company cares about what you want instead of trying to sell you loot crates and skins.
Sign me up.
Yeah, again, this game is good and this game is exciting and people are pumping this game up because they're just giving us what we want. And it sounds so silly that it's just, hey, give me tic-tac-toe. Okay, here's tic-tac-toe. Okay, great. This is the greatest game ever. I'm having so much fun. And then here's like, hey, we got Connect 4, but sometimes the colors change and the Connect board is procedurally generated. And it's like, bro, I just asked for tic-tac-toe. Like just do tic-tac-toe really well. Like that's all we want.
It's it's really telling, I think, of the industry in general that when gamers are given what they ask for,
Yeah.
they suddenly buy and play it and get excited about it.
Wow.
It's like,
What a
ooh,
concept.
yeah. Give the consumer what they want, and you'll be good. Um, yeah, and that's the other thing is I was looking at Valorant news, but it's confirmed that a ranked mode will be coming to the beta in a
Oh,
few
to the
weeks.
beta.
Yeah,
Okay. I was gonna
yeah,
say, because we knew there were ranks.
yep.
The cool thing about the ranks though is that it's not bronze, silver, gold. They're all kind of like friendly names, like mercenary, soldier, or whatever.
Hmm.
So I can't be like, Dan, shut up, you're bronze, get out of here.
No, you're gonna have to
You
say, hold
call
up.
me bronze 3 and be like, yeah, you're just a merc. Because I think merc is the lowest level. But even then, merc sounds cool. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm a
Yeah,
merc.
exactly.
Cloud
Like
Stripe's a merc.
it just makes you happy. Yeah, what is it? It's yeah, mercenary, soldier, veteran, hero, legend, mythic, immortal.
Yeah, I'm a hero. You
Yeah,
kidding me? I'll be happy with hero
that's what I'm saying, man. Like that's actually a really awesome system. Like you said, I would be happy to do my ranked matches
and be a soldier.
and
Like,
be
hell
like,
yeah, I'm a soldier.
yeah, you can't. Oh, you're soldier 4. What's wrong with that? Like,
Yeah, who
what's up?
cares?
So yeah, I'm excited for it. Like I said, I keep watching the streams. That way, I don't have to play on
No.
Fortnite
Very
player.
curious how long this beta is going though, because they haven't said that yet.
Well, that's what I think blew me away from that tweet was ranked coming in a few weeks.
But their target goal for this, all right, so their target goal to get this game released is the summer, quote
Hmm.
unquote.
Yeah, Q2, Q3, somewhere in there. So
So June,
yeah,
June summer.
is the beta gonna run through like
Yeah,
until
that's what I want
release?
to know.
I wonder. They
I think it
could.
would be really cool if they just kept this going for a while, and then maybe they had like a 1 or 2 week cooldown,
Hmm.
and then launch the game. I think that would be really cool, especially now when like everyone's just inside and Pro Valorant's like all we have. That's good right now.
Yeah, you know me.
It's
I
like the
don't.
one shining thing.
I play FPS when effectively
Damn.
when you drag me into it, right? Like
Yeah, okay, there we go. I was like, Dan, come
once every
on.
2 weeks. Like that's it. The only game FPS wise I ever played of my own accord for some reason was Paladins. That was like the only one, and that
Yeah,
game's killed itself. Um, though it was fun the other day
yeah.
playing. But I mean, that's a game that effectively that's the opposite of Riot. That's high res. They do nothing the fans ask for.
It's the Fisher Price. Fisher
Yeah,
Price Riot.
and it's bad. So, but that's actually in discussing esports and in discussing ranked and paladins and everything. The first actual pro team announced a roster for Valorant, and it's actually kind of funny because it was ninjas in pajamas. And when I first saw the tweet, I was like, "Oh, it's Bittner and Digidog." And wait a minute, did they just re-sign their Paladins Premier League team to be a Valorant team? And that is exactly what
That's
they
a
did.
really odd choice, honestly.
Well, they defended it, and I guess this kind of makes sense because ninjas in pajamas cut their teeth as a CS:GO org, right? Like that's what shot
Yep.
them up initially. And then so they have the knowledge and expertise around that. And then they had a team sitting around, all free agents who were world champions in a hero shooter. So I'm assuming they're trying to take these people that are already sitting around and just start to work those two things back together
Yeah.
into some kind of beautiful marriage. I don't know. I like NIP.
Well, yeah, I mean, a large percentage of managing a pro level team is managing the personalities.
Hmm.
And if you have something in place where these people have already, known each other and they've already won at the highest level and they've competed in, I'm assuming Paladins has had a LAN.
Yeah,
Okay.
the Premier League is invite. It's like CDL. It's invite only. There's a set number of franchises. It's all done on LAN.
Oh, ooh,
Yeah.
Paladins. Okay. Excuse me, high res. I thought you were just an online only league. Joke's on
Nope.
me.
Nope.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, if they have experience and they all don't hate each other, you can learn to play a game. It's just it's Valorant's not the most beginner friendly game on the planet.
Yeah, like really, what they're gonna have is like you said, they're gonna have chemistry. They're gonna be able to aim, right? And they're gonna be able to communicate. I know the aim thing becomes a,
You
a,
sure?
a touchy subject.
The podcast people can't see me grimacing right now.
Yeah. Um,
I'm grimace right now.
I'm straight grimace, turning purple.
Ugh.
Um, but yeah, so like you would assume they have those base technical skills that they can learn, like you said, learn the rest of the game around it. But
Yeah,
they got to get started now because all it's going to
yeah,
take is 100 thieves to pull in their CS:GO team and just like
yeah,
fucking rotate them over, and
yeah,
it's going
yeah,
to be
yeah.
a bad time, you know.
No,
Um,
that's why I'm just like I'm pretty sure you could go into any Counter Strike server and find a couple above average Counter Strike players and say, "Hey, you want to join my esports organization?" They could probably do better.
yeah,
But I mean, it's good. We'll see. Jokes might be on us. Who knows?
yeah, you could see NIP world champs 2021 or
But I'm
whenever.
curious. I'm curious. What the leash is on that team in terms of if they get blown out, if they are a last place bottom dweller team every single week, and they are getting 13-0, 13-2, 13-3'd. I don't know.
You know, you're right. This could be one of those things where it's like, hey, we want a Valorant team. You guys are all sitting around free agents. Paladins is a dying thing. A lot.
Is
Yeah. Like, I mean, it wasn't there wasn't a lot there, but like the Premier League at least had a decent show out last year. But then like a lot of pros started retiring and like teams started restructuring or dumping their rosters, right? So
rightly so.
this is almost like a this is your chance because Paladins isn't alive. You need to find another game. This is it. And if it doesn't work out, like you're out the door for the next guy.
Yeah,
For that Ross,
sure ain't hell gonna be me.
picking him up from the jerky leagues, right? I got my esports
my,
jerky sponsor.
my joke team, Feet Pick Esports.
Yep, there you go.
Yep.
Making it happen. Got the jerky sponsor. So
Yeah,
so
the gamer jerky 10% off code and the I don't know, like there's so many different jersey sites or whatever. And just man, everyone with the Fiverr logo is just salivating right now with the chance to be an Overwatch star.
you can pick up your own Bitwise Dan jersey. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Just like feed it in the bar below.
No,
Um,
this is the wild west of esports right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I like it. It's going to be interesting. I want to see who's coming out. You've got to assume 100 Thieves is going to have a team, right? You mentioned it earlier. They have their invitational coming up. They're picking 8 teams. They said they're going to be high level players and content creators.
What if what if this
Uh-oh.
is just the 100 Thieves scouting combine?
That honestly, that's
You already that you know that's what it is.
that's 100% it. They're gonna put in their team of like three CS:GO players, one streamer, and like one League of Legends player for S&Gs, and then they're just gonna watch all these
Yeah.
other teams that show up and just pick people. You know,
Who carries Tim the Tatman the best?
that's effectively like all of the 100 Thieves
If you can
streams.
win a game with Tim the Tatman on your squad, you're automatically here's your 100 Thieves contract in New Jersey.
Tim the Tatman gives me hope as a content creator that
Yep.
you do not have to be good at games
Nope.
to get followers.
Nope.
So,
You
uh,
just need friends that are good at video games, which you have.
boom, nailed
Your
it.
entire Saturday stream is just Tom hijacking your stream, so he plays Divinity through you.
Well, that's my favorite. To just sidestep the whole thing is like he's played the game 6 times, and then
Yeah.
he gets frustrated with me because I'm like reading the story and like
Yeah.
looking around, and he's like, "No, Dan, it's right there. It's right there. It's right there. Go faster."
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Like,
"Relax."
Dan, pick this skill. Dan, read this book. Dan, talk to this guy.
Yeah.
Dan, do this. You're just like the voice command character.
Hey, it's better than the I guess in that game, right? You have the option to use computer generated NPCs, or you can use a
Yeah.
Dan generated NPC. At least I listen
Yeah.
to some degree. So,
I'll make it.
yeah. So I don't know. They haven't announced who's going to be at that invitational. Looping back to the initial topic,
That's
but
what I want to know. That thing's in like what, 2 days? It's Tuesday.
is it Tuesday?
It's the 14th.
I have all of the internet at my
You
fingertips.
have the internet at your fingertips
Yeah.
right now, and I will filibuster for like another 2 seconds for you to Google 100 Thieves in Valorant Invitational. Knowing you, you probably have like Nade Shot's Twitter on your desktop, just ready to go at any time.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
What have you gathered?
let's see. We got. Yep. I got you. The
It's the
invitational.
14th. It's
Eight.
the
Yep.
14th.
It just says 8 top tier teams will be participating.
I'm
Some of
pretty
the
sure it's the
biggest.
14th.
Yeah, it is the 14th. Yeah,
Okay.
they don't have anything. Every website has the same story that
They
Gamezo.co.uk
they all they
has.
all copy pasted off Gamezo.
It's true. It's like
How
we
dare
we
you?
got the deets. I was seeing if anything new came
Who
out,
wrote that?
but we
Is that
didn't.
is that the man Zach?
It might have been Zach.
Zach write that?
I love
Zach the God?
I love Zach. Zach's
Zach Attack.
my man Zach left the stream right before we played Paladins, and he likes Paladins.
Oh,
So yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Anyway,
anyway,
I think that's it for Valorant stuff. Actually, we have two more esports news things, but I think that's it.
I thought it was funny that like the first day of the Valorant streams, the Trindamere, one of the top guys at Riot, was going around gifting subs at everyone's channel. I thought that was funny.
He's like, say nice things, say nice things, say
You
nice
say
things.
say nice things. Here's 50 subs.
It wasn't Zach, it was Kyle. Shout out to Kyle,
It was Kyle. Okay, shout out to Kyle.
my man Kyle. All right, so we have the Face It. We got that story going here.
Yeah, Face
Coming
of
on.
Justice, which is something that every game needs.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Every single game needs this
Yeah.
because I'm gonna loop back to Valorant. I I never made it, but I wanted to make a funny video of just comparing the general player base of Valorant to other games.
Hmm.
So I have clips of me at the beginning of each game being like, "Yo, what is up, gamers? How we doing today? We're gonna go get this. We're gonna go get the win or whatever." And every time I would play a Valorant game, the people would be like, "Yeah, man, we got this. It's all good. Yo, what game you playing? I come from Destiny 2. Oh, I come from Counter Strike. Oh, what do you play? Rainbow Six? Oh, here, take the diffuser. You're gonna plant this. And you're gonna sit on this cam because that's what you do." I'm like, "Okay, buddy, I got you." So I never said it, but I like the character Cypher in
Hmm.
Valorant because he's just a combination of a couple of Rainbow Six characters. He's got a Valkyrie camera that he throws out, so I'm like, "Oh, you already know I'm playing
The
this."
owl. Yep.
I've already got him. I've already got the cameras in like weird spots that people don't see, and my teammates are like, "Yo, that's a nice camera. What? How did you even think about that?" I'm like, 2,000 hours of Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah,
Um,
no, Cypher's definitely my favorite character so far.
yeah, I wasn't thinking Cypher. I was thinking, who's the bow guy with the owl cam?
Oh, Sova.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking. For a second, I was like, wait, he doesn't sticky the cams, he owls.
No, I stopped playing Sova because his ultimate for some reason is like 300% volume compared to everything else,
Oh
and he
really?
blows my eardrums out. I don't know why.
Oh rip. Stop playing the character because he's too loud.
Yeah, he's too
Um,
loud.
but yeah, so like you said, everybody should have this. So first off, Face It is a third-party website that lets you kind of play different competitive games on it, and then the other side to it, well, what this feature is it's basically a community-driven like moderation, or like I don't know what you want to call it, like a council, right?
Basically, they're outsourcing, um, like, player behavior to their actual player base,
Yeah,
which is something League of Legends has done before.
yeah, it's similar to the Valve's Overwatch, but not useless. Actually, Cyclop I think wrote the story for us.
Valve's Overwatch?
Yeah, so it's a
Oh, I
similar
was
system.
like
No,
I
no,
was
not
like,
the game.
"Dang, Valve does not make Overwatch."
No, no, no. They have a similar system. So yeah, it's a community moderation
Yeah.
or community driven moderation system, which is really good. I've played other games that are have similar systems to it, and it always works out really well where like a certain number of people are chosen as judges or whatnot, and then they rule on the action. Of the person. You know me, I play a ton of iRacing. That's been a gripe in that community. There's basically one guy at iRacing headquarters that if you have a judgment you want issued, you send the clip to someone doing something malicious, and they make the decision based on it. But what you end up seeing a lot of the times is people will go to Reddit first, to the iRacing Reddit community, and show the clip and say, was this malicious? Is this something I should protest? And then they basically take the Reddit community's feedback on whether they should protest it or not to determine if they're going to send it in. It's like just skip the step, have the
Yeah.
community determine if it's actually something that should be protested or not, and then make a judgment on that. So that's what Facet's doing. I think that's great. I thought it was really good. Anytime we get away from like auto moderation and or
Mhm.
just some nameless, faceless corporation making decisions on punishment or action towards you based on the things you did is, I think, a positive
Yeah,
thing.
it's interesting because Rainbow Six is their contract with ESL, I think, either ended or it is ending very soon, and they are transitioning to Face It, so hopefully we get this.
That'd be
Because you already know I am going 8 hours a day in this Face It Judge thing, 100%. I
a
am going to cleanse the land myself.
second job. Just let it go.
I have you ever used, the R6 tab or R6 tracker?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, so R6 tab has their own separate Reddit where you can send in clips and get people banned off that site.
Oh, really? That's
So,
cool.
like, so if this person goes to, like, try and get on a team or something like that, like, they go in one of the 8 bajillion Discords, they're like, "Yo, look up a team, I'm 17, I'm a diamond, I have a 1.3 KD, I'm godlike," and then he pulls up his R6 tab and it just says, "Banned for racism," and then there's, like, a link to the Reddit post where I made where I clipped him calling me the N word 3 times.
Whoa, that's awesome. That's really good. That's
Yeah.
really really good because
It doesn't ban him from the game, it just bans him from that website.
yeah, and honestly, like that's super useful. I helped with a Call of Duty team for a little bit, and one of the biggest problems we had is we would get kids who had
Hashtag
yeah,
Omni6.
who would shout out to my boy Alex, who coaches that team. But we would get kids who were very talented, and they would be very humble and like very good people during the tryout process, during the conversation process,
Yep.
and then like within a week they'd be like, "Hey, can we talk? Yeah, bro, I want to get a sponsorship from Nike. Like, I want to make a bajillion dollars, but I'm not sharing it with the team. Just so you know. And by the way, Ross is crap. I hate him. He sucks. If you don't cut him, I'm gone, and I'm bringing my boy with me." And shout out to my boy Alex. He's no negativity. He's like, all right, see ya. Get lost.
I
But
want my Nike sponsorship for my T3 Call of Duty org.
yeah, so but it's just funny because it's like if you have that up front, it's like this dude's toxic. Like if you could just tell someone's toxic, someone's racist, someone's whatever. Like as someone trying to put together a team, whether it's serious or just like to go play, community events, like that's super useful. And it also shines a light on their behavior in general. It lets the community know, which is really good.
Hey,
Um,
don't be a bad person. Be
yeah,
nice.
that's it, man. Just be nice.
Be nice.
Just
It ain't hard.
just be nice. The last thing on the list for esports news, which if we had a chuckle when we were going over the show notes before this,
I
is
want to talk about this.
oh, I'm giving
I
the deep
hate this stuff,
I'm gonna
dude.
give the deep deets on this.
I hate this stuff so much.
So phase agony.
You don't even know who this guy is. You've never heard of this guy until today.
No, but
You
that's
were today years old when you heard of
exactly.
phase agony exists.
But that's why this fake Twitter story it was useful. It was self promotion. So apparently, Faye's agony. The other night there was a break-in at his house, and he was allegedly
Allegedly, there was
stuck
a
in his.
break.
Allegedly, there was a break-in. Allegedly, there was he was stuck in his computer room. He had no access to his phone, so he started tweeting that his house was being broken into. There were gunshots. Blah blah blah. He allegedly reached out to his roommate, who was in a different room, via Discord. The roommate then called the police, and then everybody ended up being safe. Right, his brother was safe, who he thought was potentially got shot when the firearm was discharged. The roommate was safe. He ended up safe. Everything was very scary. It was terrifying. He put a picture of the shotgun shell up on the internet that was, on the crime scene. But he's been getting a
Yep.
lot of flack for this for a few different reasons.
What kind of shotgun shell was it, Dan?
It was rubber buckshot.
Mm-hmm.
So it was rubber bullets that were discharged, which, while very dangerous and not putting that down at all,
It's like paintball plus two.
it's like bullet minus three.
Okay.
Is more like it's gonna break ribs. It can do internal bleeding. You get hit in the head, you can die. Um, so it's dangerous, but it's not like you know. The initial tweet made it sound like someone came in and was like, you know, and duck and cover.
UAV activated.
Yeah, like action movie. The other thing that have people kind of questioning and tinfoil hatting is he tweeted about it while it was going on instead of calling somebody. You know, the whole story seems kind of suspect when you take the tweet chain together. Um, Really, it's a big story because if it's true, like that's terrifying, and that's like the third high profile breaking and entering story I've heard this week, which is
Weak.
yeah, which is bad. A UFC fighter actually had his house broken into. This dude came through his front door, basically just yelling, just just screaming like a psycho. This guy was a former title challenger. He beat this dude up for like 5 minutes before the cops got there, and the
I was
guy
gonna say that.
the guy never stopped though. Like this dude was just like either like psychotic or on drugs or something because
Mm,
you can't take a professional fighter beating on you and
yeah.
you don't stop. Like you're on something or
He
you're
he
out of your
rolled
mind.
up into the wrong neighborhood. Of
Yeah.
all the houses he could have picked, he picked the UFC guy.
Yeah, well, I guess what happened was he went like from door to door and he got more aggressive as he went and then he went into a house, but then he got scared off and then he ended up in this house and he got bold enough to actually want to do something and he, like you said, picked the wrong house in that
Of
regard.
all the places.
So there was that, there was another one, and then there was this, and it was like all within a week. And I was like, geez, man, like what is going on out there? But so it's a big story because, it's a phase player. It's a high profile thing. It seemed really scary and dangerous, but it's also high profile because everything doesn't quite link until there's a police report too. So you basically have two sides of this story, which is side one, which is like this is terrifying. I hope you're safe. I can't believe this happens to people. Effectively, right? Kind of the human side of
Yeah.
the story. And then there's the people that are like, "Where's the police report? This doesn't check out." Side of the story. And there's almost like no in between, right? Like I
Yeah.
I I don't it's gonna sound terrible. If I wasn't a writer for a gaming news website, I would not care about this at all.
Okay, full stop. It is awful that someone broke into this guy's house if it happens. Obviously, I am not condoning someone breaking into someone's house. Obviously, it is a very egregious crime and very traumatizing experience, but I don't care.
Yeah, that's
Like, sorry. And then like if you read the tweet chains, it's like I understand, oh, I don't have my phone. This is the only thing I can do. But then he keeps tweeting. Like one tweet, and then there's another tweet. Oh, I hope my boy is okay. Oh, the cops are finally here. If there's someone in my house shooting like off a shotgun, I'm not live tweeting it, man. Like I understand this is my only form of communication, what I do not believe. I do not believe someone in the year 2020 does not have their phone implanted on their chest somewhere. Yeah, see, like mine's on my phone because it buzzed because your boy Cyclops followed me earlier. But yeah, like who doesn't have their phone on them in the year 2020?
yeah. I don't know.
Like
especially in your computer room, like with
Yeah,
all the
in your computer
communication you have
room when you're
access to,
streaming,
like I don't know, but like you said, horrendous situation. Um, my my
thoughts and prayers.
my no, my low key favorite responses though were like because this happened in the UK, I believe, right? Um, but my favorite responses were like, "This wouldn't happen in Texas." I'm like, "You're right," because like
Yeah,
it would become a game of Call of Duty or Rainbow Six
yeah.
real quick. But like,
Which I'm assuming this phase guy is good at. So you don't again, you're coming up in the wrong neighborhood.
yeah, these people just picking the wrong houses. Um, oh, that was the other one. It was some people in Chicago tried to rob this house. They came up like they were delivering something, and they came up on like a dude who walks around with like a machine gun on his back and tried to break into the house. Um,
My
everybody
man with his Barrett cosplay.
Yeah, everybody picking the wrong houses these days. So yeah, like you said, horrible situation. Really, I'm gonna be really interested to see because the last tweet I saw from him was effectively, as the cops look into this, I will release more as I can. So I'd be really curious to see like the actual,
What do you
like,
mean release what you can? Police reports are public, aren't they?
I don't know
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. Well,
if it's an
none of us
ongoing.
know because we don't look at a newspaper. But I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure a newspaper has like a section that's actually like a police blotter section.
yeah, but it's an ongoing investigation is different than like an
Oh yeah,
arrest. You
yeah,
know what I
you're
mean?
right. You're right.
So, like if they arrest people, you might see like Dan and Ross arrested. But you're not going to see Dan and Ross arrested for aggravated assault when they broke into FaZe Agony's house and shot off some rubber bullets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, um, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what comes of that because I can tell you right now, if he does not release more information, if more information is not released,
Twitter will find out, man.
yeah,
Those people are vicious.
this will either die off, which I think is most likely because, like you said, like I don't care too
Listen,
much.
they just spent last month dealing with their 15-year-old Fortnite player using the N word. Like
Th-
it's been a rough time for FaZe.
Wait, where's my tinfoil hat? Hold up, hold up.
Is this? Oh, are we? Okay,
S-
is this a distraction from the Fortnite kid using the N word?
oh yeah, speculation. Phase management went to Agony and said, "Hey, this is what we're gonna do. I got a
Okay.
shotgun with some
Yep.
rubber bullets. We're gonna fake a home invasion."
Okay. Tinfoil
Boom.
hat off.
We have to like add a segment called tinfoil hat like hour so we can just like not have speculation for the whole podcast and in that like 10-minute period that's all we do is speculate about stuff. So all right,
No,
hey,
that would be miserable.
that would be the best. So that's all my show notes.
Okay.
Do you have anything else? We're an hour and a half in. Pretty good.
Well, no, we did good. We didn't stretch it to 2 hours this time.
Yeah. We've been pretty good. So
We've been getting better at it. In past episodes we probably would have spent longer talking about Saints Row 3,
that's true.
and people would not want to have listened to that.
Paul actually just dropped the the phase bad year. Tifu suing them, Jarvis getting
Yep.
bans, them signing a
Oh yeah,
12-year-old,
that's
Dub saying the N-word, and now
yep.
this.
Yep. It's funny because I saw a tweet like I think a week ago or whatever, and it was ranking the most social media engagement by orgs,
Oh
and it
no.
was like FaZe is back on top as the most talked about esports org, and I was like, I wonder why.
Hey, all publicity is good publicity, baby. We're out here talking about them, right?
Yeah.
So,
So
all right. So, I'm gonna pump the socials for podcast. I realized on the last one
FaZe
that
up.
I was gonna say I realized on the last podcast I was like our stuff's underneath, and then that's all I said. But they're
Yeah, yeah.
listening; they're not seeing. So you can follow Gamezo at GamezoGG on Twitter. You can go to the website and read all of our sweet writing at gamezo.co.uk. You can follow Ross at Rain R6S on Twitter, and you can follow me Bit W1SEDAN Bitwise Dan on Twitter, Twitch, and everywhere. It's what's up.
Dan.
Oh yeah, you're right. You can also get on Twitch and you can follow Ross at Rain
No,
Yura.
no, 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 no. I wasn't
No.
saying that. I'm saying when are you gonna play this game?
Oh, I thought you were throwing it out there that you wanted, but follow Ross,
No.
and then also at some point I'm gonna play Near, and I'm gonna make my first ever YouTube series, which is gonna be called Badgered. It's all the games Ross badgers me to play, and we're starting with that one because it's his favorite of all time. So that's everything I think we have to plug. Ross, do you need to plug like
I
some
don't want
weird
to plug
like
nothing, man.
you're not doing like a DJ set like somewhere
No, 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 no.
online later?
Actually, no, I'm gonna hold off on that.
Oh, rate
I
five
had to.
stars unfollow,
Yeah.
follow,
Okay,
rate it
so
5 stars again for the podcast.
if for some reason you are listening to this podcast on something other than Twitch, you're on Spotify, you're on the Last FM, the radio.com, or whatever's going on, the 5 star, I think that's good if they give us 5 stars. I don't really know how this works. This is like
Yeah,
Yelp.
5 stars is the top.
Okay, you gotta give us the 5 stars. You gotta ungive us 5 stars, and then give us 5 stars again. So we only get 5 stars once, but you're thinking about us twice.
Oh, I love it. That's beautiful. Also, follow the podcast. Tell a friend.
Whatever that means.
Yeah. All right. That's the podcast for this week. We'll be back next Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time on this Twitch. If you're listening, that's the Bitwise Dan Twitch. And, keep up with us. I'm hitting the out button later.
Phase up.